everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I'd do another kind of makeup menu, get ready with me style tutorial using some of the products that I showed in my Sephora haul and some other bits that I've been enjoying recently. So yeah, I'll get started. So I'm just going to re-cleanse my skin with a bit of Bioderma. I did do my skincare routine this morning, but it's been a couple of hours since then, so I'm just going to make sure that my skin is clean. All I did actually was film a video which went up on Bank Holiday Monday of some healthy drinks that I've been having recently, and using some matcha powder as well. So if you want to see that, then that's on my channel. All I'm doing is checking that I've not got anything on my skin that's going to break me out, because I do break out easily, especially if my skin isn't clean or whatever. So I've done that. I'm going to use this Yes Carrots eye cream. I've not used this before, this is the first time I've used it, so I thought I would try it in the video for you. It's in like a squeegee tube. It's very weird, very long tube, which looks like there's a lot in it, which is good. I've been really loving the Body Shop one that I mentioned in my April favourites as well, but I thought I'd try a new one on camera for you. It feels very moisturising actually. Very light scent, but nothing too much. Actually, it feels quite thick and creamy, which is good. And then you know what's coming now, Origins Vitazing. You all know it. Well, if you've watched me before, you will know I use this pretty much in every makeup video. I just use this every day. It's a really good moisturiser. It's not too heavy if you've got combination skin. It's good for sensitive skin like mine. And it does have a slight tint to it, which I find really helps with sort of redness and stuff. But it's not sort of a tinted moisturiser, it's just a very slight tint. It's not kind of giving you much coverage or anything. But if you have really good skin, then you could probably get away with using this without anything on top, but I do need a little bit of something. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with some concealer, and I'm going to use the Rimmel Wake Me Up concealer. This one is really good actually for any blemishes and dark circles, so it's kind of like a 2-in-1. I do also love the Maybelline one, but this is just the one I have open at the minute. I'm going to put some on a like red lump. It was kind of like not a spot, but it was like a random lump that appeared, and some little tiny blemishes that I've got around here. And then a little tiny bit around the nose, because that always gets very red. And then I'm just going to blend it with my fingers. This concealer is slightly too dark for me, but it does work, because with the foundation that I'm going to use over the top of it, it works fine. And I do like a very peach toned one for under the eyes, just to correct any darkness that I have under there. For foundation, I'm going to use the Tarte Amazonian Clay Powder Foundation. This is in Fair Honey, which is the lightest one. And I'm going to use the Tarte little brush that's meant for this foundation. And all I'm going to do is sort of twist it in the pot to get some on the brush, and then I just buff it in. This foundation is really nice, because you can have it as a very natural coverage, or you can really build it to get a full coverage look if you want that. I tend to find this kind of like buffing motion works best with this foundation, as it really means that it's buffed into the skin and it's not going to sit there looking thick or heavy, which I don't want. This is also a really good match for me as well, which is good, because I bought it online from Sephora and you can never truly tell what shade you're going to be. I've used this foundation before in a darker shade, but I purchased this lighter one because my other one is only any good when I've got fake tan on. So that's the foundation. It's very flawless coverage. It's very natural. It's not very matte, so it doesn't look thick, but it's also not glowy, which is good for me because my skin does tend to get a little bit oily, especially in the centre throughout the day. So I really like that one. And then I'm going to use my new Anastasia contour kit. This is, a lot of people have been using this recently and going crazy for it, and I finally got my hands on it. One thing I will say, these shades are so pigmented, so don't use a lot of them. I made that mistake the first time. But I'm going to use this middle shade here, which is like a ashy brown shade, and I'm going to use that to contour. I'm not going to go all crazy with the contour, I'm just going to dip the brush in, and this is the Real Techniques Ball Metals contour brush number 301. And I'm just going to pop a little bit of that into the cheekbones. These Anastasia contour powders are very buildable. But if you're not careful, you put too much on the brush, they are very intense, and will give you sort of a strange look, which you don't really want. I haven't used this palette a lot yet. I've only really started using it recently, so I haven't really tried it all yet, but I have tried the highlight and the contour and the bronzer, which are all really nice. But I've not tried the sort of banana powder yet, or the setting powder, but they're in there. And I just like to build it up very gradually, because I really don't want that overdone look, because I don't like that. If you wanted to go all sort of like really Kim Kardashian with this, you could. But I've said before that that's not really my thing. And then I'm just going to put a little tiny bit on the temples. Not too much, just a little bit to contour. You can also put a tiny bit down the nose, just to slim the nose out a little tiny bit. Again, I've got hardly anything on the brush. I've not got a lot of products on it at all. And it always looks like I've got more on one side than the other, but I think it's just the light. No, I think I've got more on that side. I would not do this every day, by the way. This is definitely not an everyday makeup routine for me. This is just when I've got time. I would not do this for work. For work it's literally just foundation, mascara, do my brows, that's it. I don't really do anything else. And then on the brush you can just take whatever you've got just on the jawline. I don't like to do a lot of this, because if you do go too heavy with it, it can look like a foundation line, which I do not like. And that's it. I'm not going to go any further with that because I think that's enough. But you could, if you wanted to, go a lot further with it and go really contoury, but I'm going to leave it there. Then I'm going to use the highlight shade in this palette, and I'm going to use it on a Real Techniques. This is the blush brush number 300, and I'm going to use the shimmery highlight. It's not very shimmery, but it has a little bit of shimmer in it. I'm just going to pop that on the tops of the cheekbones and up through the brow. It's very subtle, it's not intense at all. And then I'm going to use a blush, and the one I'm going to use is my new one from Hourglass, which I bought from Space NK. Showed it in my last haul. It's still in the box, but I haven't been using it. If you want to see my other blushes and everything, my makeup collection is up on my channel. I'm going to use this one, which is in the shade Dim Infusion, on that same brush. It's very natural. Not very intense at all. Not very intense. I can't speak today. And I'm just going to use a very small amount of it. I don't want it to look very done. That will do. Last thing for the cheeks is I'm going to use a bit of my new Clarins bronzer, which is beautiful. I bought this last weekend, and look how gorgeous that is. They do one of these every year. I missed out on it last year, and it's the Aquatic Treasures Summer Bronzing Compact, and it's basically got 4 different shades of bronze, and it's just beautiful. It's all sort of embossed, and I just couldn't resist it. And everybody raves about these every year, so I thought I'd pick one up. And I'm going to use the lighter half, since I'm not tan at the minute, on a Real Techniques 100 brush. I think this is like the powder one. I'm just going to pop a little bit of it on the cheeks. Not too much. and a little tiny bit on the forehead. I'm not contouring with this really, I'm just kind of warming up the skin, and it will also mean that everything else is very nicely blended. If you're very pale like me, you can't really go too over the top with bronzer, as you'll end up just looking orange, but I just think that gives a nice glow to the skin, and it's just such a beautiful product. Again, it's very, very natural, which I like. And these brushes are really, really nice as well, if you wanted to know. So I'm going to start off with the NARS primer. I've used this before, and I just recently repurchased it. It's the Pro Prime Smudge Proof eyeshadow base. This is really, really good because you can use it with powder eyeshadows and cream shadows. It works really, really well. I'm just going to blend it in with my finger all over the lid. It's a very sort of smooth texture, but it just works really, really well. I haven't found any primer that works as well as this one does, especially for cream shadows actually. So yeah, it's a good primer. So now I'm going to use my Marc Jacobs palette in The Dreamer, which I got from Sephora as well. This is a beautiful eyeshadow palette, and it's all neutrals, but they're quite warm toned, which is quite different for me. So I'm going to start off just putting a base down. I'm going to use a MAC 224 brush and the lightest one in the palette, so the one at this end. This will just set that primer and just give me a nice base and cover any veiny areas that aren't going to get covered with a coloured shadow. Now once that's done, I'm going to take a flat shadow brush. This one's from Real Techniques, and I'm going to use this gold shade, actually, the next one along. I'm going to pop that all over the lid. These shadows are very, very nice. They're not the world's most pigmented shadows. They're not as pigmented as Urban Decay, for example, and they're not quite as easy to blend, but they are really, really nice. I do really, really like them, and the colours are very, very beautiful. But some of them I found are a little bit difficult to blend, so maybe that's something to bear in mind. These palettes, they're not difficult to blend, but they're not as sort of seamless as some other shadows that I've used. And then I'm going to go into the crease with this beautiful peach shade here. This is a Real Techniques crease brush, and I'm just going to blend that into the sort of outer corner and crease. This is a beautiful, beautiful shade. It was probably the shade that I wanted most in this palette when I saw it, and it's very, very nice. You think it'd be quite hard to wear. It's kind of very, very peachy. It's almost like the shade I would use in a blush, but it is actually very, very wearable. And there's a matte peach shade in this palette that works very, very nicely with it as well. And then all I'm going to do is go back to my MAC 224 and blend that. Make sure it's all seamlessly blended. Probably all sat there going, there she goes again with blending. Yep, I am. And then I might just smudge a little tiny bit on the lower lash line with this Charlotte Tilbury brush. Very, very small amount, just on the outer part. What an attractive face that was. That would do. And then I'm going to go in with my Benefit Roller Lash. The sample that I have is still going strong, so we're doing alright. So I'm just going to apply quite a generous amount of that. I normally apply 2 coats to my top lashes. And that's the top lashes done. And for the bottom lashes, Clinique Bottom Lash Mascara. This is actually a new one that I just picked up. Just going to give them a bit of definition. And then I'm going to use my Maybelline Brow Charmer that I always use through the brows, just to make sure they're looking as best they can. My eyebrows are a bit weird at the minute. They're being a bit wild. They don't want to sort of sit right, but a bit better today actually. I always use this brow mascara, and I think if you've got sort of quite strong brows anyway, I think it's enough rather than filling them all in. So that's the eyes done. So now moving on to the lips, and I've got one of the new Clinique Colourpop Lip Colour and Primer lipstick. This one's in the shade Melon Pop, which is a really nice springy corally sort of colour. I'm just going to use this bronzer as a mirror. I've not used this yet, so this is the first time I'm using it. It's actually a really nice colour. I wanted kind of a peachy, sort of not nude, but like a neutrally kind of lipstick that I could wear sort of every day. So yeah, that's the finished look. So let me know if you liked it. I really hope you did, and I hope if you were wondering what I thought of some of the products or how I used them, then it's going to use some sort of ideas. And also it's a bit different for me as well. I don't normally contour or anything like that, so bit different. So if you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!